The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines with hosts MJ, H-Train, and Terry. Each week we put today's news into perspective. Join us on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcast. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. And I'm your host, Terry, and there's H-Train there. And MJ is not able to join us tonight, so it's just going to be us two. And we're going to break down some headlines for you. What you got tonight, H?
Well, I tell you what, today we will definitely, in the second part of the show, we will play the, as the White House turns, a lot of stuff going on in the news right now. And it's nice that you're here tuned in, because one thing that we promise you is we're gonna talk about this news on a neutral line. Neither one of us are the whole Democrat, Republican, so don't even worry about that. But major headlines today. I don't know if you heard, but after 3 consecutive days of missile exchanges, tensions between Israel and Iran have sharply intensified after Israel struck Iran's defense ministry and alleged nuclear-related sites, while Iran responded with missiles targeting Israeli population centers, causing at least 14 fatalities so far. Notably, footage emerged showing Iran's F-14 Tomcat, officially U.S. built, being destroyed near Tehran amid worries this could make a turning point. When the second part of the show comes in, Terry, we're going to watch what happened today. It really got close to home for some people that do the news. So now, I think something's going to happen. Also, I don't know if you already knew this, but the Minnesota lawmaker shooting development, he's been found. So Van Bolter, 57, faces charges for shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses in their homes over the weekend. The FBI discovered he had visited multiple legislators' residents that evening in response to top Democrats. They're urging Speaker Johnson to increase House security. Interesting how they were fighting that earlier this month, and now this happens, and now they have a reason to. Interesting.
Yeah,
all right, now I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember about a year and a half ago, Ed Sheeran went through the court process of like copyright music and okay, so check this out. The Supreme Court today declined to hear a lawsuit claiming Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud plagiarized Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On, affirming previous ruling in Sheeran's favor. They just like to waste money, don't they?
It kind of sounds like it. And I don't really think they're that much the same, honestly.
They're not really, and I mean, it's first female M16 chief has been appointed. Blaise Matuidi has been named the first woman to lead the UK's M16, set to assume the role on October 1st, 2025. Her appointment during rising global threats marks a milestone in British intelligence leadership.
Is it MI6?
MI6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh, that's
what did
interesting.
I say, M16?
Yes.
Oops.
Yep. Yeah, MI6, I believe. But yeah, that's pretty interesting that now is led by a female. I think, like you said, first time in history. So that's kind of interesting. And Bonds were never females either. Whenever they had a Bond movie, and he's British intelligence, and
Right.
they never had a female Bond for the longest. James, there was always James, and not another female that was an agent like that. But I think they did finally come up with, or they were going to cast one, weren't they? I thought at one time they were going to cast a female into a role of an agent,
I don't know, but
like Bond.
I do know 2 movies, 2 sequels are coming out. There's a lot of people that's excited about it. I think, oh great, another Hangover series. But Spaceballs 2 is coming out. Rick Morris is coming out of retirement for this.
That's pretty cool.
And then also Happy Gilmore 2 is on the way.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they showed the previews of it, and honestly, it looks kind of crappy. Honestly, it looks like the same plot. Why does sequels have to be the same plot?
I don't know. I think they think the first one works, so the second one should work too. But that doesn't usually work so pretty good. Usually you need something a little different to keep people engaged. I'm hoping for good things with Spaceballs too, though. I mean, that was pretty funny back in the day. So
It was.
and then
It
getting
was.
those people to come out of retirement, like one of them was like 92, isn't he? That's coming back as one of his characters that was cast way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it'll be interesting to say the least.
All right, so I'm trying to get that van. I don't know if something's going on with Canva today, because I'm trying to drag this over, and it is not liking it. Let me tell you. What do you got for us? Or yeah.
Well, I was doing a little bit of investigating, and it kind of ties into what you were talking about with missiles and drones and things like that. And so, really, the topic was AI in the battlefield, and the comment is, "Are we ready for autonomous warfare?" And I think we are in a way, but then in another way, we're not. I mean, one of the things that it had talked about was, are you ready for AI to be your battle buddy? Would you depend on that battle buddy to help you out and to always do what needed to get done? I mean,
Right.
do we have the same level of confidence that we would have in a real human being partner, battle buddy? And then the other thing, the other side of it is, once something like that is deployed and something's in its path and it's collateral damage that's not expendable, that shouldn't be expendable, I mean, that would be a problem too. Like, there's a human factor involved because it doesn't have a way to discern friend or foe necessarily.
Right.
I mean, given certain conditions, yes, it does. But I mean, if somebody in unintentionally stepped in the path of one of these AI things, either a drone or a missile, or So I mean, we're already using AI in the military for some things.
Right.
But are we ready for Terminator Part 2, 3, 4? I mean, are we ready for that? I mean, or the Universal Soldiers. I mean, because that's kind of the thought behind this new AI, is that what's going to eventually be the thing. And I mean, really, autonomous, AI in the battlefield is good because it would save lives. The service members' lives. To deploy something like that. But is it dependable, and is it something that's sustainable? I mean, because you've got to think that all this stuff is so expensive that how in the world would we be able to afford enough AI to cover all the battles all the places we are in? I mean, drones are pretty easy, and those are easy replicated, and those wouldn't be something that would be a lot of trouble to maintain or to keep in, or be a huge cost. But if we're talking about other enhancements with AI,
like flying IEDs.
Yes,
when
things
I
like
saw that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where we're kind of at. Are we ready for that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm asking because
I don't think the question is, are we ready for that? I think the question is how are we going to teach that to our military? Okay,
Mhm.
because when we were going to Iraq, we were going through like the fundamentals of what engineers do when it comes to you know detonating det cord on landmines, anti-personnel mines, stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is different. This is flying IEDs. Like, that's kind of scary. My heart and my thoughts go to every service member. But like MJ and me were talking this morning, when my wife and me were thinking about having kids, that's one thing we got in an argument because she's like, well, I don't want my kids ever to join the military. And I told her, I'm like, some say there's going to be a day where it doesn't matter if a kid joins the military or not. They're going to be here. And the fight is going to be here in the United States. It's just, it's going to be. There's sleeper cells and everything else.
I believe that.
So, so we, it's very easy of us as humans to become complacent, and we really have to be aware of our surroundings. I know I do. I mean, I wasn't exactly thinking yesterday. We went to the remote to do that remote in out about time near Lakewood.
Mhm.
And we got there, and Mo Gratitude comes over and says, we got some bad news. Well, what's that bad news? The store can't give us power.
Jeez.
I'm like, well, this was a fun idea. So me and my wife, we went over and purchased a generator. We got the mission done. Now, it's nice that we have the means to do that at the last second,
Right.
But anybody else, they probably won't have that.
Yeah.
But the reason why I bring that up is, you have to prepare for everything nowadays.
Yeah.
Nothing is black and white. Everything, there's like a loophole. There's something that you have to worry about. And I worry about our service members. I worry about the work ethic, because me and your time in our work ethic is definitely different than the work ethic of the younger generation today.
It's so different because, I was telling Travis with Oscar Mike, he was like, well, what's changed? What's different? Because you've spent 33 and a half years in the military. So what have you seen change over the course of time? And one of the things was, polishing boots and ironing uniforms. We took a lot of pride in both. Our boots
Right.
were supposed to be super shiny and like you could see yourself, and drill sergeant wanted to see his reflection in our boots.
Yep.
And, you wanted that pressed uniform. You wanted it just to stand up practically by itself.
Yep.
And nowadays, it's a wash and wear uniform. It's suede boots. So, there's really no maintenance other than keeping your patches serviceable and that kind of thing. But other
Right.
than that, they don't really have to spend any time on it. So we learned, kind of to put our effort in our uniform and in our our mission set, because that was what we did. But nowadays, everything's a little bit different. We've got all these cell phones, we've got all these things that we didn't have. So we've got all these distractions, and things we don't have to do anymore that would tie us to being more regimented in what we do and how we do it. And so that's one of the things I think definitely is a big change, is the uniforms. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not complaining. I mean, I didn't mind not having to pay for starch in my uniform, and being able to bend my arms when I needed to.
I was gonna say I remember my BDUs. I remember those pants. Tracer, those things stood up on its own. They were so caked, and
Yes,
but
they were.
what I did, and like, so when I got ready to go to the board in Iraq, I would I take my uniform and I like wet it down, and I put it in between the mattress and the springs, so
Mhm.
that would iron it, kind of like press it or whatever for the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cool idea. Never thought about
Huh?
that. That's a cool idea. I never thought about that.
Yeah, well, it didn't get me very far, so but hey, it's the thought that counts.
You were trying, right?
I was trying. Damn it.
Well, I remember trying to put my foot into a pant leg, and you were like having to bust starch or break the starch just to get your foot in there because they were so starch heavy. And then you would fold them over, and it would be just like a tent flap, like it would just stay completely over because it was so creased and so heavy with starch. So yeah, and they were hot. They were hot with all that starch.
Oh my
They didn't
gosh.
breathe very well.
You don't know hot until you've been stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. Oh my God, that place is hot. It got so hot that the kiwi would melt off the toe. That's how hot it got. It got so hot. It got so hot that the next day my BDUs, no, that ain't starch, that's sweat. That's white sweat on the back. Yeah. Oh, so gross.
Yeah.
I don't know which one was worse, that or in PT formation while the gnats are biting you and you have to stand at position of attention while the gnats are biting you.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, it isn't.
No.
Well, you ready for our first break?
Well, yeah. How about we play Die Tired Open Hearts Club? How about we play
All
that?
right.
All right.
And then when we come back, we're going to not only do As the World Turns, but from around the world, there's 3 things that's going on, and we're going to tell you about. One of them just so happens to be tourist footage from India's show Panic at Moore's Kempney Falls as a snake was spotted in the water. So whatever you do, stay with us. Don't go away. You're listening to Beyond the Headlines with H and Tracer right here on MBR.
Here we go.
Hold on, things are dizzy, spin rapidly. To miss another beat is such a tragedy. Now this moment feels like all eternity. It should feel so comfortable. It's all in the secrets of the open hearts club. Tear it down, there is no need to scream and shout. When everything seems crazy, reflection now. A peace of mind should not include deception's help. It should feel so comfortable. All eyes stare into the scene, leaving bad taste in our memories. How can we all find change? It's all in the secrets of the open hearts.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines with H and Terry, and we're breaking down today's headlines and putting them into perspective. What you got, H?
Oh well, I hope you can hear that music. We got the soundboard back.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, so hopefully you heard that music.
I did.
Good. I haven't had really a good solid 30 or 40 minutes to really make sure that this mixer works. So this is one of those days I'm like really trusting the equipment, if you know what I mean.
I do. Sometimes it works for you, and sometimes nothing works.
So I'm not going to play the video, but right now London and UK are laughing at Trump because apparently during the parade, Trump fell asleep.
Oh, no.
Yes. So,
Oh my goodness.
you know what? If I was 89 years old, I'd fall asleep too. People,
Well,
give him a break.
Well, but the thing with Trump and with a lot of people like him, they don't sleep very much. They sleep maybe 2-3 hours a night, maybe 4 max, and that's about it. So sometimes when they've had a full day, I mean, they just crash. Finally, they just crash because they don't really sleep much. Those creative type people, those minds that really just get up and work and just keep going all day, like you give them like a moment of like silence, like to sit, and they're out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Trump, now you know how the military guys feel when we're standing at attention or parade rest, because if you haven't fell asleep at attention or parade rest, then you haven't lived in the military for long.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. It's amazing to think that you can fall asleep standing up, but you can. It is a thing. It happens.
You know what? When you join the military, there are going to be things that you think that your body can't ever do, and the military is going to show you how to break those records. So don't you worry.
Right. That's true. Yeah. A lot of things you never thought possible are possible.
Now I'm going to read some of these news clippings from around the world.
Okay.
And then some local here in Denver that's kind of interesting, and then we'll go right into as the White House turns, unless you had something else that you want to talk about. Oh, and before I forget, I mentioned it today during our NBR little forum chat. Everybody is invited to play this game, but
nice.
the question of the day to everybody in like the NBR chat thing, it was kind of like a family thing. People, if you're listening, if you're hearing, you can also join. Okay, the NBR logo, the embroidering. How many stitches is in the embroidering? It's crazy. It is crazy how many stitches it is. Put a guess in the comments, and by the end of the show, we will read it, or I will read who's the closest to those stitches. So we have that. We have that all as well. There's a.
It's pretty detailed too. The logo is pretty detailed. So look it up if you need to see it, but it's pretty detailed logo.
Yeah. Now I talked about the word puzzle 1458 goes viral, correct?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, so today's Wordle 1458 featured a nod to Tom Petty challenging players with a double T and a Y, sparking widespread discussion and twice ensuring success with clever strategy guides. That's interesting. And then also from around the world, Austin Tice case update. A former Syrian general claims that American journalist Austin Tice was executed in 2012 under Assad's orders. This is the first time Assad has been directly implicated, but the report remains unverified. Also, trade and diplomatic moves. Indiana Prime Minister Modi received Cyprus' highest civilian honor today. Meanwhile, UK manufacturers are pivoting away from the U.S. markets due to the tariff concerns. In entertainment news, tourist footage from India shows panic as Mazora's Kempty falls as a snake was spotted in the water. I guess they're having some snake troubles in the water over there. They also had a plane crash that 241 people died, and there was only one survivor.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the pretty much the last set of news, Psychedelic Science 2025 conference begins here in Denver, Colorado. Convention Center is hosting the 5-day Psychedelic Science 2025 conference from June 16th to June 20th, drawing over 7,000 attendees and more than 500 speakers. It highlights Colorado's legal psychedelic landscape and includes tours for the state and federal lawmakers. In response to the tragic shootings of state lawmakers in Minnesota, Colorado Secretary of State has temporarily took down the Tracer campaign finance database, which contained personal addresses and phone numbers. This move prioritized public official safety over transparency. And you know what's coming up, Tracer, is Denver Juneteenth. Music festival shrank from 2 days to one after several corporate sponsors and NEA grants withdrew, mirroring a national trend of reduced corporation, the DEI involvement. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
This is going to make Bronco fans really happy. Mysterious series of properties purchased 10 lots of totaling $146 million by LLCs near Lincoln Park has fueled speculation about the plans for the Denver Broncos to build a stadium. The team confirms that there is no final decision yet to be made. Bullshit. Okay. And then last but not least, then we'll go into the stuff. Now everybody saw all the riots and everything.
Yeah.
Single-stair housing legislation. New Denver housing rules expected by the end of 2025 will allow single-stair apartments, simplifying construction following a 2025 state law. And then finally, No Kings anti-Trump protests in Denver. Thousands marched on state capitol as of nationwide. No King rallies on June 14th, opposing Trump's federal military parade. At least 36 arrests occurred, but Trump made a nice little statement in his tweet this morning saying, you know what? I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the No Kings protest. There was no Kings that was brought to the United States yesterday.
I think that's a weird name for the protest.
I do too.
I mean, I think it's fine to protest if that's your desire and that's your calling is to protest because you don't like a policy or a law or practice or you don't like something that's going on in the government. But to call it No Kings doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. I don't understand it. But I don't know if I'm supposed to. So we'll just leave that there.
Well, I and I tell you, me and MJ was talking this morning. There's just, everybody we just got to be patient. We got to let it play out. But, don't let the noise of the outside world get you down. Don't let the noise of the outside get you down,
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you what's happening right now in Washington, D.C., not going to affect us for a while. So don't hang your head down. I didn't know if we were going to even have a show on Monday because of all this stuff that's going on. But like you said, we'll be okay.
Yeah, it would be okay.
Yeah, we just gotta quit listening to the noise. But I tell you what, we'll go ahead and play as the White House turns segment, since it's about that time, and then we can talk about it. How about that?
Sounds good.
I'm trying not to run the show.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. I'm letting you because you've got this.
Here we go.
So here's some breaking news about the news. On June 16th, 2025, Israel bombed the headquarters of the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting in Tehran, which is also called the IRIB, during a live broadcast.
صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلود استادیوم
Now, this attack that was reported by multiple sources, including Al Jazeera, Reuters, BBC, and confirmed by the Israeli Defense Force, the strike interrupted a live transition with footage showing debris falling in the studio and the anchor taking cover. Now, Israel issued a full evacuation warning for parts of Tehran prior to the attack, claiming full aerial operational control over the city's skies. Now, for those of you that don't know, the IRIB is known for being the state broadcasting company, and it's a government-run entity that promotes the Islamic Republic's official narrative, which includes strong anti-Israel and anti-Western rhetoric, as you might guess. There's been a few people out there that said that the IRIB is a channel that's broadcasting global jihad, terror incitement, and deranged lies about the West and Israel. Essentially, it's the propaganda news of Iran. So take that for what you will. So here.
Okay, so he keeps saying NVI. I don't think he means the Men in Black, right?
No, he was saying the IRB something.
There's so many abbreviations. It's crazy, but yeah, that's good. Hey, honey, how was work today? Oh, it was a blast.
Yeah, literally
Right?
and figuratively. Yes, it was a blast. No, that's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine being in the middle of talking. And I mean, she was very impassioned about whatever she was talking about. Obviously, I don't know the language, but you could tell she was really into it and really like trying to get something across. And the next thing you see is this explosion. I can't even like fathom having something like that happen to me.
Right? Well,
Yeah.
You definitely would freeze on the mic. But I don't know if it's her language, but like, it sounded like she was yelling at me, like, "You come to dinner now. You come to dinner."
I told you.
I told you. And I tell you, if you've never been overseas and you're trying to talk to somebody, raising your voice or counting the syllables, how are you? Yeah, that's not gonna magically make them understand it. Just so you know.
Right. Yeah.
Me and my dad had a hard time with that when we were in Russia. I'm like, Dad, you can raise your voice all you want, playing charades and stuff,
Right.
it just doesn't work. Oh, and then like last week I went to Walmart and I used my Chat GPT. I'm like, hey, this will help me, right? That thing set me up for failure. I told it to ask for root beer and it sent me to the beer section. So can't trust Chat GPT all the time for everything. Now,
and beer is beer, right? Root, pale, ale, apple. Like it's all the same, right? It still has a beer in it, right? So,
right.
That's funny.
So what else did you want to cover, Tracer? Because I tell you.
Well, it talked about in the AI article that I was reading, it talked about Project Maven. And I know I've heard about it before, but I didn't really know a lot about it.
Well,
but Project Maven is a U.S. department. It's MAVEN. And I didn't realize how far it went back. It goes back about 8 years. It says Project Maven is a U.S. Department of Defense initiative launched in 2017 to accelerate the adoption of artificial intelligence, machine learning across the military. It focuses on AI to process imagery and video, particularly from surveillance drones, to automatically detect, tag, and track objects or people of interest. The project aims to improve military's ability to identify potential targets and streamline decision making. I kind of heard about it, but I didn't really realize what it was. But I mean, we've been, some of us that are in the intelligence agency, I'm sure would know something about Project Maven. Me not being in the intelligence lane, I didn't hear about it from that perspective. But it's been a lot around in the military a long time. We just are now just really realizing some of the outcroppings or the outshoots of some of that technology that they've been tracking and testing.
So here's a little bit about it. I put in trending news about this. Evidently, there's a lot coming up in the news in the last couple of weeks because there's a lot here. Says as of May 21st, 2025, the Department of Defense raised the contract ceiling for Planeter's Maven Smart System from $480 million to nearly $1.3 billion through 2029 to support U.S. combatant commands. NGA Director Vice Adam Frank Whitworth noted that the system now has 20,000 active users across more than 35 military and command platforms and has dramatically sped up targeting workflows from hours down to minutes. Maven now a formal program for record as of November 23rd or November 2023. The NGA officially designated Project Maven, renamed NGA Maven, as a program of record, solidifying its long-term status in the federal budget and the acquisition pipeline. This paves the way for standard software development, acquisition, whatever, I can't pronounce it, pathways, and future enhancements under NGA oversights. Now, then we're talking about Planter's growing contract. In May 2024, Planter secured a $480 million expansion contract to roll out Maven's capabilities to 5 combatant commands: CENTCOM, EUCOM, INDOPACOM.
INDOPACOM, yeah.
They're all comms.
Right. They're all comms, yes.
Yeah.
Combatant commands, yes.
Yeah, and the joint staff. This move supports integration into the CJADC2. That's Joint All-Domain Command Control Framework, connecting geospatial AI with broader military intelligence functions. And then the final breakdown. This is what all this means. To highlight the scale, budget is nearly tripled in 2025. Contract value now at $1.3 billion. Usage: 20,000 users across combatant and command networks. Speed: targeting workflows cut from hours to minutes. Institutionalization: official program of record as of 2023. And then the mission still core to U.S. geospatial AI strategies and CJADC2 architecture. So that's some weird stuff right there. I don't know which one's scarier, that or I gotta say the flying IEDs. When I saw a video picture of, and they took it off, of course. It was gruesome. The soldier evidently had a GoPro, and it showed the drone right in front of him, and it showed it exploding, and then the screen just went black.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, there's that, all that with Project Maven sounds like, it's very something that's very beneficial to the military, to map out things, to find targets, to do all that. I mean, so that would take someone at a computer station a long time to do, if they're doing it hands-on type input instead of having AI kind of filter all this data quickly and make decisions. And that's the other thing, is it would help on the battlefield with decision making, because it'd be split second. Do we do this or not? And like it would go. But the other thing I thought about too, and I know that there's some out there in the civilian world, is those robotic dogs that do guarding. So you know how we have the dogs in the military that do different things.
Yeah, they have robots. I saw that.
Yeah, so I've seen those too. So I mean, like, is that the next generation soldier too?
Mhm.
Is the robot dogs, and then maybe some of the robot suits or something for soldiers. I mean, the whole thing is going to artificial intelligence and weapons systems that are like mind driven versus like somebody's going to pull a trigger, or somebody's going to roll out wire and do a claymore mine or something. I mean,
Right.
like, it's all going to be AI and artificial robot type intelligence.
I think it's definitely going to be
of the future.
drone warfare. I agree with you on that. It's definitely like if I can put what I need in a soldier in a drone and take a chance of sending the drone, because I mean a drone, you can probably make a drone for less than $200. Okay, a person's life is way more worth
sure.
more than that.
Yeah.
I can see them doing the drones just like Ukraine did to Russia.
Yeah.
Kind of embezzle those drones as they get to that location, and then they unmask it. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. And have we seen the last of boots on the ground?
I don't think so. We still need real thinkers and real doers, because somebody's got to deploy all this technology or ensure that it's going in the right direction.
ChatGPT. Wouldn't that be amazing if the lieutenant has a program kind of like ChatGPT, tells the drone where to go, what to do, and stuff, and then it survives. I personally think that I'm pretty sure we've seen the last of boots on the ground. That it's going to be more artillery, it's going to be more air driven. At least that's what I think. Because I mean, in the long run, it's cheaper to replace a drone than it is a soldier.
Oh, that's 100% true. And I'd rather sacrifice a drone than a person any old time.
Right.
So I agree with you, but I still think we need boots on the ground for extractions and things like that, because I still don't think that our technology is capable of those types of things. Or if there's a search and destroy mission, I think there's still got to be some human intelligence that goes along with that, because at some point in time, those artificial intelligence things, they think, but they can't reason. And it needs reasoning. So I agree with, maybe they are the force, the robots and those drones and things like that are the force, but there's got to be some human element that's in charge of that force, because I just don't think it's going to just go without.
I love MJ.
What did she say?
MJ.
Hold on, I got to see.
Like, wait, how many stitches was it? Right now, I'm letting everybody from the group pick.
So Tony had given his guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that's way over that number. Way over that number.
That's crazy. I saw, I didn't see any of those military dogs that I've seen on the feeds, whatever feeds social feeds you watch. But I did see one of the robotic dogs at Falcon Stadium in Atlanta when we were there. And that Falcons Stadium dog, he has his own doghouse, and he guards the perimeter of Falcon Stadium, and he walks back and forth, and you're not to mess with the dog. And he has his own doghouse to go into when he's kind of trying to reset or recharge. But it was kind of cool to see him. I took some pictures of him, and he stands like guard. And if you get too close, he looks at you like he would tear your leg off, even though he doesn't have a mouth to do so. But I would be a little intimidated by those dogs, honestly. I thought they were really interesting.
I think my internet might be going funky, Tracer. I think that's what happened because it looks like we lost Facebook.
Yeah, it does look like we lost Facebook.
That's okay. It's not like anybody watches us on Facebook. We got Roku, baby. We got Roku.
We got this. We're all right.
Okay, so before we leave, before I tell everybody, like the grand fight, because I'm trying to buy some time so every host and every DJ can participate in this crazy number. But Father's Day. Was you busy yesterday? What did you guys have going on for that holiday?
Just a bunch of family over, and I mowed the grass. I mowed the grass.
You mowed the grass? Okay.
I did. It took me a couple hours, but it's all right. It started to rain, but then it started like really cooling off, so I really appreciated it. I really appreciated the rain. What'd you do?
After I got done with the remote, I felt like I played a game of flag football. I mean, my body was aching the whole day. Like I slept a lot, It's like, wow. I know, but I refuse to say that I'm old. I have old tendencies. I have old knowledge. But I refuse to say
you have
that
wisdom.
I'm old.
You have wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not old. Yeah. If you don't remember your birthday and you don't remember how old you are, you can never get old. That's my saying. You can never get old.
I always say if nobody says happy birthday to me or I don't get a present, I gotta stay 46.
See, that's what we need to do then. Yeah. Don't say happy birthday.
Don't say it. Don't say it, everybody.
Because I didn't have a birthday then. So then, yeah, we're good.
Don't say it. So I was hoping all the DJs would get in on this. I will tell you that skydiving, we're still looking for nominations, veterans and first responders. If you're a firefighter or a police officer, this is your chance.
Yeah, for
sure. If you're military, this is your chance. Okay? If you're in another state, we'll figure something out, but at least get those nominations in and let us know. But whoever is the highest donor for the skydiving will get this neat little Baba doll.
He's a bobblehead.
Bobblehead with the cornholes, with the little
cornrows. Super cute.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, and like they sent me one bobblehead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, this is a lot of money. Now I know why it was a lot of money. The thing is huge, Trace.
Yeah.
Huge. But yeah, with that being said, I will tell everybody. I'm going to give a number. If you guessed anything under 14,000, you're already out of the game. Okay, I'm going to give the final number later tonight so that everybody gets a chance. But I can tell you it's over 14,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
My first guess was under, but my second guess was over that.
Right. Yeah. You got close on the second when I saw that.
Well, when I saw the ice cubes, I'm like, okay, we're really, really cold. We need to step up our game here. It's got to be a lot more.
While I have the bat computer, unless you want to end it early tonight, if you have a question to ask the bat computer, the duck computer, whatever you want to call it, I looked up the trending news, what you was talking about with the Mayos. I've never even heard of it. That's the first I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I really didn't know what it was, what it encompassed. Okay. So I was curious to hear more about it because I didn't realize all the commands were actually using it. The combatant commands were using it. So.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if people realize this or not, but so to get internet, you have to take like a satellite dish, like DirecTV or something like that,
Yeah.
and you have to learn how to point it to the satellites, kind of like you do cable. But instead of when the signal comes back, instead of feeding that signal, what it does is it feeds it kind of like a signal for internet. And then you have to have like a decoder machine, like a program that basically converts that signal into the internet. Same kind of thing for cable, except that signal is, cable watching. It's not internet. And yeah, I'm trying to get one of those decoders because hey, we got a generator now. MBR can travel.
Right. Have generator will travel.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to check up on?
No, I think that's it. But when we used to deploy with the DCE, the Defense Coordinating Element, we generated our own internet. We had our own satellite dish. And so we would create our own internet source, and we would use Sling TV and everything to get the local and international news, so we could hear what was going on. And we could set up that the inside talk and the outside to get internet in less than an hour.
Right.
All of it.
Now,
And
did you have to use a decoder, or did you guys just use like a Sling box?
Well, I don't think we had a decoder. We had a modem and we had switches, and I think it was all in the switches. But we could set it up in an hour, and it was amazing. I was impressed with the team. We unloaded a trailer and had everything functional within an hour. We'd jump talk from one location to the other, and we'd have it set up so that we could, weather was coming or anything, we could move out and move to a new location. So having, you're talking about setting up internet and, being mobile. So, I mean, you truly can be self-sustaining if you have the right equipment. I think that's the message there.
And talking about the right equipment, I've been reading on TikTok and a lot of social media. People have said, it's one of those. It's kind of funny. I think it's a conspiracy. They're like, all right, everybody that marched in the parade yesterday, were they really military or were they paid actors? I mean, look at their step. Their marching is terrible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called route step. Are you going to expect us to march for like 8-9 blocks? We route step most of the walk, and then when we get closer, then you get everybody on step, black on stink, yep, and then bam, right and cross. Some people, I tell you, creating a conspiracy because they've never been in the military.
Well, I mean, everyone's hypercritical. Like they just see one little thing and they go, oh, and it's this. And, they don't see the whole experience. They see one little piece and then they make a judgment on what's happening or what's not happening. So that's the thing is, I mean, and I think we all do that too, is like we all make a snap judgment just based on a snippet of information, and we don't, drill down and see really what's going on.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's that time for us to get out of here.
I think it is.
We do want to say that we missed MJ.
We did miss
MJ. MJ is our spirit flower. It's just not the same here when you're not here. So let's make sure that we make it happen next Monday. Whoop, whoop.
That's right.
Remember, everybody, skydiving July 4th. We need to get donations, and we need to get nominations and veterans' names in and first responders. And July 12th at Douglas Fairground, we'll be doing a car and bike show just like we did Saturday. We'll be broadcasting on a Roku channel, and we'll be streaming. And we'll probably give some ducks away as well. Then July 19th, then we go to the Cynics Complex, soccer complex, for the same thing. We've got 6 remotes coming up.
Wow.
More chances for you to win and for you to for you to tune in. I got breaking news real quick. Hold up.
Okay.
This is from okay. Breaking news. Trump says right now everybody should immediately evacuate Tehran. So, I guess, remember I told you guys all the wars and all that shit was going to happen over the weekend. Now it's fallen into the weekday. So I think we're going to have a steadfast on this war, maybe by Friday. It's fast attacking. So our prayers and our hearts are with the military families.
Absolutely.
And look, if you need something, reach out. That number is 720-619-0627. Remember, once again, like we always say here at MBR, we're here for you, not for us. Giving our veterans a voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.